All right, today we're going to look at a super simple story from India. It's about a farmer, a shopkeeper, and a bottle of Coca-Cola. Now, at first glance, it just seems like a little joke, but hidden inside is a perfect four-step recipe for building a world-class brand. Seriously. So, let's break down this brilliant piece of marketing.
So the story kicks off with a scene you can immediately picture, right? A poor farmer just toiling away under a blazing hot sun. The source material says, "Sweat was pouring down." You can almost feel the heat, the exhaustion, the struggle, right from that very first line.
And then, right on cue, a potential solution appears. The village shopkeeper spots the farmer struggling and offers him a little bit of relief, a simple act of kindness, or maybe, just maybe, a really smart sales pitch.
Okay, now here's the farmer's objection. And it's not just a simple no thanks. It's a real, practical, and honestly, a deeply relatable reason. This is a guy who knows his body. He knows his limits. He's saying, even cold milk upsets my stomach. That's what makes him feel so real, doesn't it?
And this is the moment where everything pivots. The shopkeeper doesn't argue about digestion or temperature, no. He completely reframes the entire product. He shifts from a physical benefit, quenching thirst, to a purely emotional one. He says this doesn't cool your stomach, it cools your heart. Wow, this isn't a drink anymore, it's a feeling.
And guess what? The farmer buys it. That emotional pitch was all it took to get past his very logical objection. So he opens the bottle, he takes that first sip, and the story just kind of holds its breath for a second. What's going to happen?
And boom, here's the punchline. The effect is so powerful, so incredibly refreshing, that it literally stops his ox in its tracks. The farmer is just blown away. The work has stopped, the heat is forgotten. It's this hilarious, over-the-top image that perfectly shows the drink's transformative power.
So we laugh at the story, right? It's funny. But this is exactly where our analysis has to begin. Was that really just a silly little tale, or was it something way more calculated?
I mean, really think about it for a second. You have the perfect setup, the perfect objection, this magical solution. It all feels a little too perfect for just a random joke, doesn't it?
And what's so fascinating is that the source text itself seems to be in on the secret. It actually ends with this question, almost like it's winking at us, inviting us to see the story for what it really is, a perfect blueprint for an advertisement. So yeah, let's accept that invitation.
Okay, so let's put on our marketing hats and actually break this story down into its core pieces. Because what we're looking at here isn't just a joke, it's a masterclass in persuasion. It's the recipe for an absolutely irresistible brand.
It all boils down to these four incredibly simple but powerful ingredients. You need a character we can connect with, a problem we all understand, a solution that feels like pure magic, and a result that's impossible to forget. Let's look at exactly how the story nails each one step by step.
First up, you need a hero. And notice this hero isn't a king or a celebrity, he's a poor farmer. He's hardworking, he's suffering, and he's practical. We get him instantly because on some level we've all been him. He's the perfect everyman.
Then you give that hero a problem. And honestly, it doesn't get more universal than this, being hot and completely exhausted from hard work. I mean, everyone everywhere on the planet knows this feeling. And that shared experience creates an immediate, urgent need for a solution in our minds.
And here it is, the masterstroke, the solution. The shopkeeper isn't selling a drink, he's selling magic. He completely sidesteps logic by elevating Coca-Cola from just a physical product to an emotional cure. It offers joy, relief, a moment of pure bliss.
And finally, the payoff. This is the proof that the magic actually works. The result isn't just, oh, the farmer felt refreshed. No way. The refreshment was so profound that it radiated outwards and stopped a giant working animal in its tracks. That's how you illustrate power in a way that's funny, sticky, and absolutely impossible to forget.
But hold on, the story isn't quite over. There's one final line. And this line, well, this is where the advertisement becomes truly masterful. This is where a simple desire gets transformed into a fundamental need. What the farmer says next is without a doubt the most important line in the entire story. This man, whose entire livelihood depends on his crop, makes a completely shocking declaration. He has just experienced something so powerful that it has completely reordered his entire world.
I mean, this is a complete rewiring of his priorities. Before Coke, his focus was survival, the harvest. After one sip, his focus is happiness, the feeling that Coke provides. Suddenly, Coca-Cola is no longer a luxury item. It has become an essential part of his life. And that right there is the ultimate goal of all branding.
So, why does this little story matter so much? Because this exact formula is being used on all of us every single day. The brands we love, they aren't just selling us things, they're selling us stories.
It's the reason we don't just buy shoes from Nike, we buy the feeling of athletic triumph. We don't just buy a phone from Apple, we're buying into creative genius. And we don't just buy a soda from Coca-Cola, we're buying a little moment of happiness. We're always buying the transformation. We're buying the story.
So, the formula is crystal clear. If you want to sell anything, you start with a relatable hero. You give them a universal problem. You present your product not as a thing, but as a magical solution. And then you show its power with a result so memorable, it becomes a story all on its own.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. The next time you choose a coffee or a car or even just a can of soda, take a second and ask yourself, what's the story here? What transformation am I actually trying to purchase? The answer might just surprise you.